This is Elijah Choplin.
And this is Gretchen Ledford.
And this is B3.
So this week we are going to be looking into the biggest news here on campus at UNCA, which is Chancellor Grant announced after only 5 semesters she's going to be leaving us. So this came out on Wednesday, and she'll be heading out at the end of the fall semester. Where's she going? You know, that's probably the next question. Well, she said she's headed to the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the U.S. Senate in Boston. The Blue Banner's own news editor, Maggie Haddock, got her on the phone recently to talk over this transition, and she had the following to say about the institute that she's headed to.
The institute is a place that has been created to work on civic engagement. How do we promote the kind of productive conversation that leads us to solving problems in a good and healthy way? You know, we're in a time in the country where we're not doing our best at speaking with one another very well, or listening or hearing, and so the purpose of the institute was designed to do that work and to think about the processes of government and how the processes of government make a difference in solving public policy problems. So, you know, that it's such important work in our country, and so to have this opportunity to do this work is just so meaningful.
So to follow up on this, we have Maggie here in the studio with us today. Hey, Maggie.
Hi, Gretchen.
Hey. I appreciate you taking the time to come on in, and I would love to ask you some questions.
Certainly.
Great. So let's start with looking back over Chancellor Grant's time here at UNCA, as short as it may have been. What would you say some of the highlights of her chancellorship have been?
Well, you see, she was appointed in August 2014, and she was installed as chancellor in January 2015, and several people have actually noted Chairman Kennan Briggs, Michael Stratton, who's the UNC Asheville Faculty Senate. They both noted that she's done the work of chancellors who have been installed for 10 years, and she's done that work in 5 semesters. This will be her 6th semester at the end of the fall semester.
Oh, man.
So some of the things she's done is, well, first, there are about $67 million in construction projects that are underway on campus right now.
Know that.
That includes Highsmith Student Union, the new residence halls, the renovations of Carmichael and Owen Hall. Aside from that, she has also either started or rekindled old relationships with organizations and foundations, partnering with UNC Asheville. So, for instance, the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation and also the North Carolina GlaxoSmithKline Foundation. She formed partnerships with both of those organizations to further UNC Asheville's involvement with the community and with North Carolina. She also, during her installation as chancellor, unveiled the STEAM studio at Ramp, which was actually really interesting because it kind of combines the work of students in STEM majors as well as the students in arts majors, which is why it's the STEAM studio, not the STEM studio. So that was an interesting integration for students of both the STEM majors and the arts. So that's just a little bit of the work that she's done.
And all of that kind of ties back into a recent ranking at the Princeton Review.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot accomplished over a very short period of time. How has this campus reacted to her announcement, to her leaving?
I think the campus has actually been very sad about it, and not just the faculty and the administrative staff or, the students that are directly involved, such as SGA. I've heard students who aren't involved at all say to me, I shouldn't say not involved at all, students who aren't directly involved with the chancellor herself say that they feel very sad to hear that she's leaving. Taylor Byra, who's a member of the Student Organization Council and also president of TEDx UNC Asheville, said that she felt very overwhelmingly sad when she heard that she was leaving because she really wanted to shake her hand at graduation, and little things like that. But then also Michael Davis, who was Chancellor Grant's student aide, in an interview with him, he mentioned that he felt like he had lost a loved one. He felt like he was grieving and going through a sense of loss because she just means so much to him and so much to the campus community. Also, Michael Stratton, who I mentioned before, said to me in a separate interview that he feels like the campus as a whole is going through a sense of loss.
Yeah. And I would even add that the campus extended into Asheville. So I work for one of the alumni of UNCA, Greg Garrison, at the Hop Ice Cream Cafe. And, he expressed just, again, that overwhelming feeling of sadness with having established this relationship. I mean, she's gone outside of the people who are directly on campus and interacted with alumni to such an extent. They're all feeling it. Do you happen to wonder, though, if there's anything more to this story?
I do. I didn't. I thought, because after I interviewed Chancellor Grant, I just assumed, and I guess assumptions are never good, but I assumed that this was just a new opportunity, a new chapter in her life. However, after doing a little bit of research, Chancellor Grant right now makes $299,425 a year as chancellor, according to an online database provided by the News and Observer. And her position at the Edward N. Kennedy Institute, well, her predecessor at least, in 2015 made $211,581. So that's a cut in her salary by at least 30% or around 30%. And I think that's interesting. Now, they did mention that the Institute did mention that her salary was still under negotiation. However, I think it's fascinating that if she is taking a salary that pays less than UNC Asheville, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't just take a lower salary because they love the work that they're doing. I mean, there are people that do that. I just think that's a significantly lesser amount than what she's making right now. Also, she will be supervising 40 full-time employees at the Kennedy Institute, whereas here at UNC Asheville, she supervises 826 full and part-time employees. Whoa. So it's
big difference.
It is a big difference, and I think it's very fascinating that she's making such a drastic change and is actually, taking a lower budget and taking a lower not responsibility, but she's supervising far less employees than she is right now. I think that's fascinating. Also, this decision was one that this position was offered to her in the summer of 2017. And of course, we just now know, she just announced to the public that that she decided to take this position as president at the Kennedy Institute. So my question is, because this hasn't really been clarified, did she apply for this position or was it offered to her? And I think that'd be interesting if she did apply versus if it was offered to her, because if she applied, this is something that's been in consideration for a while. This wasn't something that just, appeared to her one day. So I think that would be interesting to investigate. I do not have those answers, but in the future, I think that would be something interesting to investigate.
Yeah, so we can expect a little bit more coverage from the Blue Banner on this semester.
Certainly.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to hearing from you more as the situation progresses and as you learn more and more opportunities to get to talk to Chancellor Grant. And I appreciate you coming in and taking the time to discuss this with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, wonderful. We're going to end today's show with a little clip from Chancellor Grant just expressing, her feelings on leaving this campus. So enjoy.
When people use the word bittersweet, sometimes that it's like, what does that mean? And for me, what it means is that, when I think about what's ahead in my own personal life, my professional life, the going to this new opportunity feels right. The leaving here is hard because of the people and the place. But I want to say thank you